Shalom, our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Give double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And yes, the house of David is rising. Yes, Ariel back at you with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. So, this is from ABC News. New developments, Russia assaults intensify. New attacks on civilian targets in the east. So we're going to check out this article from the ABC News without further ado, and then break it down with bring out some precepts. Abaratazar.
Ukraine. Russia stepping up attacks in the east, targeting civilians as President Zelensky pleads for longer-range missiles and fighter jets to help Ukraine prevail over Putin's forces. Tom Sufi-Burge is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, good morning, George. A series of deadly Russian strikes in eastern and southern Ukraine over the weekend. And Russian forces now launching sustained assaults on multiple parts of the front lines, with Ukrainian commanders telling us new weaponry, including those advanced tanks, can't get here soon enough. This morning, Russian rockets raining down. Journalists desperately seeking cover as residential buildings are struck in the southern city of Kherson. In total, 3 civilians killed. And overnight, another deadly Russian missile strike. One resident of this building killed in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second biggest city. And chaos and carnage after a missile attack on another town near the front lines. 3 people killed here, according to officials, as Putin escalates the offensive in eastern Ukraine. Russian assaults on the Ukrainian lines constant, according to President Zelensky. The Ukrainian leader saying weapon supplies to Ukraine must speed up. It comes as the US, Germany and others work to get advanced tanks into Ukraine. Our team given access to a Ukrainian tank division, hidden in the woods, doing maintenance. Igor Livchenko, a tank commander operating old Soviet-era equipment.
Fewer of your comrades are going to die, you think, because of these new tanks?
Russia's tanks are newer, with thermal and night vision, he says. The Western tanks will give us a significant advantage on the battlefield. This morning, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson revealing that in the run-up to Russia's February invasion, President Putin threatened him on the phone, saying, quote, "Boris, I don't want to hurt you, but with a missile, it would only take a minute." Rebecca?
All right, Tom.
So you heard it, man. Yes, man. So we're going to bring out some precepts on this. Russia steps up attacks in eastern Ukraine. Yeah, and ever since Sleepy Joe Biden offered to send those dozen tanks, Putin is just he took that as an act of aggression, you know, so an act of war, and he stepped up his attack. So let's hit some precepts without further ado. We're in that time now. Okay, let's read Habakkuk chapters 1. Chapters 2 and verse 1 says, "And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me." Right, so that tower, they had a literal tower in them days where you had to keep guard and stay alert. And that's what we're doing now. The modern day prophets are doing that now with our symbolic tower. Right now, been watching the news, and even last night I was watching the news just to see what is happening, man. And you can do it via many means, like the current events, the history, understanding the history, the prophecy. Right now we're discussing this prophecy. I'm going to title this video, "Though it tarry, wait for it." Let's carry on reading. Right, on the tower, and I will watch to see, wait, to see what he will say unto me, and what shall answer when I am reproved. And who answered me and said, "Write these visions and make them plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." Right, man. Watch these visions, or write these visions and make them plain. And Abaratazar, I'm going to make it plain in this video. Lord willing, it be edifying. Yeah, for the vision is yet for the appointed time. Yeah, as it's bringing it out, man. The vision is yet for the appointed time. And are we not seeing this thing being unraveling right before our very eyes. Yeah, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right, though it tarry, right, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right, let's look at the word tarry, because that word stuck out with me. Let's check this one out. Tarry. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Yeah, let's get into this, man. H4 102.
Strong's H 4102. Mahach. Mahach.
Yes.
Second entry.
Okay.
Mamach. Mamach.
To linger, tarry, wait, delay. Yeah. So though it tarry, which means we don't know when it's coming, it seems like it's tarrying, wait. So when you're waiting for a bus, there's no point in trying to speed. There's nothing you can do. I'm just using that as a like an illustration. You just wait, man. All you got to do is just keep waiting until your bus comes. And usually when they come, they usually come one, then they come two. Well, things have changed a bit now, since they say now sometimes you're on the bus and they say to keep the schedule they're gonna stop, just to keep buses from all gathering one after the other. But there was a time when bus comes, bus will come in threes. But yeah, it's an old saying. They don't come, but when they come in threes. So yeah, man, you just have to keep waiting. And you know what? When the Most High's prophecies start to unravel, it's gonna be like bam, 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 which we're seeing now, right? It's not tarrying. It just appears to be tarrying. You know, it's the Most High's time. 1,000 years to us is one day to Yahweh Hashem Yeshua. And that's why our time is not the same as the Most High's time. It's all about waiting patiently on the Most High. For the appointed time, for the vision is yet for the appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, let me slow myself down. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not lie. It's just appearing to tarry. And you know what? That moves me nicely into Matthew chapters 24, because the disciples had very similar attitude. Very similar, because they were men like us, right? So Matthew 24 and 3 says, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? Right? Because they wanted to know. You understand what I'm saying? They want you to know, right? They had the presence of the Son of the Most High there with them. Yeah? Yahushua Mashiach. Wouldn't you ask him questions? Well, I know I would. Right, man? Because you got him there right in front of you. And what shall be the sign of the coming of the end of the world? So they asked that, and that was a sincere question from their disciples in them days. Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of the coming and of the end of the world? And he breaks it down. We're going to hit a couple of these precepts. And he answered them. Let's jump down tonight. It says, Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Let's go up a bit more. Yeah, 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Yeah. So that's what we're seeing now. He answered their question. And are we not feeling the same way? We're looking now and we're seeing Abaratazar. This is that year when all the prophecies come to pass. And we're seeing a lot of them hitting off, popping off, as the old saying goes, like popcorn. Yeah, man. So that's what's happening right now. The famines, right? There's famines in countries right now as we speak. There's pestilences in a lot of countries, right? The so-called third world countries. Even some countries that were once seemed to be doing well. And over here, you got a lot of people on the streets, which is all signs. that this kingdom is deteriorating, and over there in America, a lot of the states that were doing well, now you got a lot of people on the streets, man. San Francisco, California, you can name a lot of them, and over here too, in a lot of the so-called inner cities or suburban areas, a lot of people are on the street begging. So that's the curses going upon the enemies. Ultimately, the kingdom is falling. Right, all these things are the beginning of sorrows, right? Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my sake. Yeah, a lot of the prophets were martyred in them days, back in the days too. Again, some will have to go through that, and that's why they got all these, what they call them, concentration camps, and them things what cut off your head. I forgot what they call them. They call them anyway. There's videos up where they got loads of those things, and the concentration camps where they want to get a lot of people in who don't get, we know, the MLTB and don't fall in line, truthers and people that stand up for what is right. They're going to try and do that with those via getting their heads chopped off. Yeah. So we spoke about that's what happened them in them days. A lot of prophets were martyred, right? But Hebrews chapter 11 talks about a lot of them didn't get to see the fulfillment, man, of that time. A lot of the prophets around 11:30 onwards talks about a lot of the things that the prophets had to suffer. Yeah, death by sword, death by persecution, death by martyrdom, a lot of different kinds of death, man. So they got their questions answered when they asked the disciples. They asked Yahushua, and let's carry on. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Yeah, we've seen prophets rise. Yeah, there's many examples of prophets deceiving. You got a lot of the false prophets. Some of them that have took the bag. The backhander, if you like. So they're now being compromised, and they ain't gonna teach you the 100% truth. That's back again, man. Yeah. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? Things that's gonna let people to fall by the wayside, and not. Let's carry on reading. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So the one that endures to the end, right? Because you have to get people falling by the wayside. Most are gonna separate the wheat from the chaff and fall in. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come. Well, these are things which they ask the question, when we're going to see these things. We're seeing them happening now. This gospel is worldwide, in many, many, many countries being preached. And a lot of people don't like it, but if you don't like it, you just have to bite it. It's just what it is, man. Yeah. So they asked a legitimate question there. Right, as they sat upon the olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of the coming and of the end of the world? Right. Let's go back to Habakkuk chapters 2, 3 says, For the vision is yet for the appointed time. Again, that's the answer. But the end it shall speak. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. Because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. Right, and he answered the question, and he gave many examples. Yahushua Mashiach in Matthew chapters 24, and also the prophet Habakkuk, who standing upon his watch. And you got us today alike, standing upon our watch, watching the news, giving these updates right now, and breaking them down through the precepts. Right, there's many ways to skin a cat. Let's hit another one. People might be asking, I wonder why war? Because a lot of these nations, they don't want to go to war, man. They don't want to go to war. But let's hit this one in Isaiah 42. He says, The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry. Right. This is why it's happening. The Lord is a man of war. and that's in Exodus chapters 15 and 3. Yeah, and that's what's happening now. He shall stir up jealousy, right? So you might call it MK Ultra. The Most High is the best MK Ultra mind controller. He's stirring up jealousy of war. He shall cry, yeah, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. So that's the Most High doing that, stirring up jealousy. You got Russia, you got Ukraine, you got many other nations too, talking and flexing their muscles on the subject of war. And yeah, man, there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot we can go into, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to entitle this video, Though It Tarry, Wait for It. Right, and that's all we got to do. Keep pushing this word, keep pushing out these truths. The Most High, the appointed time is written. Revelation chapters 17 and 16 says, and the 10 horns which thou seest upon the beast. So the beast is the reinvented Romans today. And the 10 horns are the allies. And these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked. And the whore is the Babylon, is modern day reinvented Babylonians today. You had the ancient Babylonians, but again you had the ancient Romans, and they're rekindled or reinvented back here today, as everything is reincarnated through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. This is his movie, right? And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? And again, the Most High stirs up that jealousy. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the word of God shall be fulfilled, right? This is the Most High's movie. He's stirring up that jealousy, man. Yeah, and a brother done a video which kind of got me, encouraged me to do a video, because it's the title of the video was, Even Amazon Alexis is prophesying, what's wrong with you other camps? Right, that's a GMS austere man, and it goes in. Check out the video. Alexis has predicted the date World War III will start, and there's not long to go. Alexis has predicted the date, and that's why he entitled Alexis is prophesying. You got other camps that don't even want to even go into that. The World War, right? That's taking place now. They're stirring up of the jealousy. The digital currency that's being introduced gradually, the MOTB, again, that's being introduced gradually under the radar, that they're not talking about, the Most High. And so this is like a slap in the face to those other camps. Alexis even has predicted, which is just like a play on words, because we know that we can't rely on these technologies, these AR, artificial intelligence. It's just a play on words, but it's just to make a point. You understand? Alexis has predicted the date World War III will start, and there's no long to go. Right. Now, what did it say? It says, I'll give it, it says, so they asked the question to the computer, the AI, the artificial intelligence, which is really like a joke. It says, Alexis, is World War III, November the 23rd, 2023. That's what it says. And it even gives the precise time. It says from 6:05 p.m. So that's the prediction, which we're not believing, and we're not putting our trust or confidence in artificial intelligence, right? But it's just a slap in the face to you other camps that don't even want to go into prophecy. But we go into prophecy for the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yoshai. And again, the Most High, let me zoom in on it. Yeah, just so you can see. This is the Most High's movie, the ultimate MK Ultra mind controller. God have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Yeah, that's beautiful, right? I started with Zephaniah. As a matter of fact, let's read Zephaniah, and we're gonna end off with Habakkuk again. Zephaniah's chapters 1 and 14 says, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Right? So we don't have to be impatient. Legitimate questions were asked by the disciples and they were answered by Yahushua. We see the signs, we see them taking place now. Abaratazar, this could be the year of all the prophecies coming to pass. But we know it's near. That's all we need to know. We know that when they come in threes. Yeah, them prophecies, they come and they pop off, man. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So that's what I wanted to focus on. The day of the Lord is near. That day is the day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick gloom. And what we have to do is the day of the trumpet and alarm against the fences, cities, and against the high towers. Right? Is there a trump? Is there a war in the city or trouble in the city, and the Most High have not done it? We have to just sound that trumpet, and that's what we're doing now through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shah. So, though it tarry, yeah, though the prophecies appear to be tarrying, all we got to do is continue to be watching and waiting patiently. Yeah, so we're going to end off Akim once again and give our praises to Yahweh Hashem Shah, give the spirit to do this video. The house of David is rising, and everything the wicked have done to us, past, present, future, is falling upon their own heads.
New weaponry, including those advanced tanks, can't get here soon enough. This morning, Russian rockets raining down. Journalists desperately seeking cover as residential buildings are struck in the southern city of Kherson. In total, 3 civilians killed. And overnight, another deadly Russian missile strike. One resident of this building killed in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second biggest city. And chaos and carnage after a missile attack on another town near the front lines. 3 people killed here, according to officials, as Putin escalates the offensive in eastern Ukraine. Russian assaults on the Ukrainian lines constant, according to President Zelensky. The Ukrainian leader saying weapon supplies to Ukraine must speed up. It comes as the US, Germany and others work to get advanced tanks into Ukraine. Our team given access to a Ukrainian tank division, hidden in the woods, doing maintenance. Igor Levchenko, a tank commander operating old Soviet-era equipment.
Fewer of your comrades are going to die, you think, because of these new tanks?
Russia's tanks are newer, with thermal and night vision, he says. The Western tanks will give us a significant advantage on the battlefield.
This morning, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson revealing that in the run-up to Russia's February invasion, President Putin threatened him on the phone, saying, quote, "Boris, I don't want to hurt you, but with a missile, it would only take a minute." Rebecca?
There you have it, Akim. There you have it. Fighting talk. President Putin says, made a statement. I don't want to hurt you, but with a missile, it would only take a minute. Fighting talk. So once again, we see more talks of wars, rumors of wars with our own eyes, man. Stand upon our watch and keep waiting. Once again, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. Give me the spirit to do this video. Give double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And everything the wicked have done to us, past, present, and future, is falling upon their own head. So on to the next one.